Muted.
Before we start the educational portion of this call with Jansen, I would like to give you an update about the OAUG Young Professionals Forum. And then we do have two members from the OAUG Education Committee here that would like to let you know who they are, what they do, and how you can help the committee. And then we'll introduce our speaker and the session. The OAUG Young Professionals Forum is here for young and new professionals to the Oracle world. We are focused on helping you get your career started on the right foot, build your professional network with peers and mentors, and stay up to date in the Oracle applications community, as well as we like to provide a helpful place to share information and ask questions and discuss information. We do have two opportunities coming up that you can save the date for these events. The first will be a Hyperion webinar that will take place on August 24th of this year. That will be with Beth McLaughlin of Duncan. And then we'll also have a session at Open World this year. This will be a great opportunity for those to attend Open World to meet and network in person. I will send more information about both of these sessions and how to register about soon. But you can also find them on the OAUG website at oaug.org/membership/young-professionals. I'd also like to mention that the OAUG Young Professionals Forum is run by volunteers too, and if you'd like to get involved and volunteer your time, or if you just have an idea or a question, you can email us. You can find the email, which is membership@oaug.org, on that Young Professionals website. And I'll also be sending out an email that will list some of these links so you don't have to scribble down all this information all at once. I also want to mention some of the OAUG educational events that are occurring this summer. Right now, we have the Best of Collaborate e-learning series that has started and is currently running through August. These sessions are presented live and are some of the best presentations during Collaborate that occurred this year. The series is available for free to our members, but there is one session that is occurring on July 7th, Flying Higher with the Cloud, that is open to everyone. And you can find these sessions on our website under the Education tab and then e-learning. Also, in less than 2 weeks, the OAUG Connection Point Apps Tech Online will start. If you're a database administrator, system administrator, developer, middleware tech, these are some great sessions for you to attend, and you can register for these sessions at connectionpoint.oaug.org. And that runs from July 11th through the 15th. We also like to give you, as young professionals, an opportunity to get involved with the OAUG, an opportunity to meet and network with some peers and some other professionals. Today we have Kaveri Nayak and Melanie Matthews online, and they're members of the OAUG Educational Committee, and they're going to give you an overview of what the committee does and how you can get involved.
Thank you, Samantha. This is Kaveri. I wanted to just give a little bit of a background of myself. I come from the OAUG Education Committee as the co-chair for the committee this year. I've been involved with different committees for a long time within OAUG, but just a bit of a background for myself. I worked for MITRE Corporation for the last 17 years as a lead Oracle Apps DBA, and I am an OAUG member since 1999 and attend all kinds of OAUG conferences and open world conferences. Basically, we want to, like Samantha already mentioned, what we do as an education committee, we are involved with all the education contents for Collaborate, Open World, e-learning sessions, webinars, connection points, AppStack, Hyperion connection point, all kinds of events that include any kind of education related with Oracle apps. We basically handle them. Now, we always need a lot of volunteers because behind all these big events, Collaborate, Open World, connection points, there is a big process that gets, behind the scene, which as an attendee, you never get to see, call for papers, selecting the papers based on a lot of criteria, and then what topic is hot. So we wanted to basically come to you guys, the Young Professional Forum, and ask if anybody wants to get involved with OAUG Education Committee. You can get involved in multiple levels, meaning you can become a committee member, which is generally we have meetings once a month, which is roughly speaking 1 hour, or if we have too much agenda, then it might go beyond 1 hour, but that's once a month meeting. And then you have to be a member of OAUG to be a committee member. And the other ways you can help is, give ideas of what kind of education media you would like for people to get from OAUG. Basically, we want to make the OAUG education affability much more easier, attractive to members, and with that also the young professionals. How do they like to have the education being brought up to them, other than the big events like Collaborate, Open World, all that kind of stuff. So again, I come from the OAUG Education Committee as a co-chair and wanted to open it up for any questions people might have. And if any of you would like to volunteer an hour per month time to the committee and help us make the education experience for all members, OAUG members, much more meaningful, effective. Again, we all are volunteers, and we strive to make it better experience for all the members. With that, I'm give it to Melanie if she wants to add.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Kaveri. So my name is Melanie Matthews. I am with a company out of Boston called Performance Architects. I have been working with the OAUG as a volunteer for the last couple of years as well. I also sit with Kaveri on the Education Committee. I'm also on the board for the New England Oracle Applications User Group and the Hyperion SIG. So, really to second what Kaveri said, we are just looking for folks to help us provide better education to you guys and what you're looking for and what you would like to learn about. So if you'd like to volunteer, definitely let us know. We would be happy to have, to have additional folks sit and help us prepare presentations and stuff that we have going on for our online series as well. We have currently working on preparing the Hyperion Connection Point, which is going to be happening later on this fall. So if anybody has any ideas of the topics they would like to hear, please let us know, because we're currently starting that process now. That, as I mentioned, is happening later in the fall. And, really just trying to focus on providing better source of education for everyone. So just definitely keep us posted into what you'd like to learn about. And that's it for me. That's all I have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Melanie, for adding this. I think one of the follow-up questions I have for everybody, anybody who wants to join, please send an email to Samantha, and then she will forward that to us so that we can include you in the monthly meetings. Again, you can start with that, and if you really like to volunteer more of your time, get involved with the paper selections for Collaborate, Open World. You have tons and tons of opportunities. So to begin with, be the part of the OAUG Education Committee and see how it works. Is it really how you can help to provide more value to the OAUG members? That's what we're looking for. So if any of you are interested, please send an email to Samantha and she will get in touch with us.
Great, thank you. Thank you both for letting us know about the Education Committee. And if you are interested, you can send an email at membership@oaug.org. And I will also send out an email after this with that link to the volunteer interest form so that you guys can click that as well if you are interested in giving them a topic, or if you want to join the committee and you have more questions about it. All right. Now we are going to start our session, and I would like to hand it off to Tamika Camp from the Southern Company Services, who is a part of our OAUG Young Professionals Forum Steering Committee. Tamika?
Good afternoon, everyone. Our speaker for today's OAUG Young Professionals webinar on networking tips and tricks is Mr. Jansen Hernandez, a database engineering manager at Facebook. Jansen Hernandez has 16 years of experience working with Oracle databases and Oracle e-business suite and brings a strong technology perspective to our OAUG and the Oracle applications community. Mr. Hernandez began his career as an Oracle application database engineer, focusing on installation and upgrades, system design and architecture, security and performance tuning. He has since expanded his capabilities in the area of automation, distributed systems, business intelligence, and big data. Please welcome Mr. Jansen Hernandez to talk with us about networking tips and tricks. Mr. Hernandez?
Hey everyone, pleasure to be here. As Tamika mentioned, I'm a database engineering manager here at Facebook, and my team supports the technical infrastructure for everything Oracle related within the company, which includes EBS, core database, data warehousing, Fusion middleware products, ETL, BI, and analytics tools. And I've been at Facebook for about 4.5 years. Prior to that, I was a database engineer at Google for almost 7 years. And prior to that, I was an independent DBA consultant. This is actually my first year serving as a board member for OAUG, and really excited to be a committee member for the Young Professionals group. So I'd like to focus on 2 areas related to networking that resonates deeply with me, and that's information and knowledge sharing and career building. With the first area in information and knowledge sharing, I'll specifically dive into networking methods for obtaining information along with the many platforms you could leverage as it pertains to Oracle technologies in general. For starters, Oracle, the corporation itself, is a great vehicle that you could leverage. If I'm thinking about implementing a new product or look to get feedback and insight on a particular use case, I often lean on Oracle as my first point of reference. I would reach out to my account or sales manager to arrange a client reference meeting or customer meetup. And these meetings are great because I usually get an unfiltered viewpoint of how other customers have implemented the product to solve for their problem or use case, and how they really feel about the product in general. These meetings can also spur conversations of similar problems you're trying to solve for, which in turn can generate new and creative ideas and solutions. As an example, we recently were looking into utilizing the Oracle Golden Gate product for real-time data integration to Hadoop and MySQL for one of our data pipelines. Oracle facilitated a customer meetup with other companies that have implemented the solution we were thinking about. This proved to be very beneficial in the overall decision-making process for us because we had tangible use case scenarios with data points that we could use as a reference. We also started to talk about other subject areas outside of the Golden Gate product, and it turned into more of a learning and sharing session, which was great. If you want to be on the bleeding edge and are feeling adventurous, as we sometimes do feel here at Facebook, we participate in early adopter programs where we are granted access to early releases of products that has not been released to the public yet. This allows us to work directly with Oracle development and product management teams on the actual product deployment. Getting involved in such projects helps build a bridge between internal teams within Oracle that we normally wouldn't have access to. It also helps develop a relationship and allows you to have a direct point of contact for future inquiries. And lastly, there's of course the Open World Conference, which brings a wealth of knowledge in regards to trends, products, and informative sessions. And of course, everything about the cloud that you need to know about. So the next vehicle I'll talk about is OAUG. And I found OAUG very impactful, which is why I decided to become more involved in the organization. Collaborate is a great platform to gain insights and information about anything Oracle related. I find the sessions to be very informative and tend to address real-world topics that I'm interested in. So last year at Collaborate, my team was in the middle of a EBS 12.2.4 upgrade project, and we're facing some pretty nasty show-stopping issues. I attended a Collaborate session on 12.2 and was able to meet with key Oracle product managers and engineers after that session. They listened to my frustrations and were able to connect my team with key folks, which eventually led to them getting us on the right track to resolve those issues. From an OAUG standpoint, at the same conference, we met with Oracle product managers from the database in-memory team and had a cup of coffee with them. We talked about carrying out a POC or proof of concept on a particular use case, and they immediately engaged with our team. The POC was successful and was presented at Open World last year. And as per Oracle, it was the most highly attended customer session of the entire conference. I think these examples highlight how powerful networking, particularly at Collaborate, can be, and how you can make it work for you and your own interests. There's also regional geo groups that you could get involved in, along with SIGs or special interest groups, where there's a group you could join for virtually every facet of the Oracle application stack. And lastly, there's key blogs that is great with interacting with experts, such as Stephen Chan's famous EBS blog. It's a good forum where folks can ask questions and comment on a particular topic and get responses back from experts. In addition to that, that site, I also frequently visit database and technology related blogs like Pythian and Kevin Clausen's blogs, which are really informative. The next area I want to focus on is career building. So when I first started in my career, we didn't have a wealth of information in this domain at our fingertips, and it was quite limited in information sharing. We basically relied on official Oracle notes and TRMs, which stands for Technical Reference Manuals, for learning about a particular topic. And personally, I admit that when I started off in my career, I was quite guarded with my skills, where I held on to information or scripts like they were my trade secrets. Right? And a lot of DBAs operated this way due to job security or whatever that case may be. Right? And I soon realized that it didn't have to be this way, and the more I opened up, the more I built my personal network of like-minded individuals who can share information freely. I made connections easier that way and gravitated towards working and engaging with professionals that were open, building up our own talent pool, so to speak. We started to be our own support system, where if we didn't have answers to things, there was a good chance that a friend of a friend may have that answer. So using my example earlier with the 12.2 upgrade, members of my team and I presented at this year's Collaborate conference to share our experience with the upgrade, where we focused on the gotchas, the issues faced, and tips and tricks. We certainly didn't have to do this, but felt compelled to sharing the pain we went through and what we learned in hopes of helping someone else. The session was a really good turnout, and the engagement level was so awesome that we continued to have conversations in the hallway for an hour after the presentation. We met a lot of different folks from a wide spectrum of companies that were in the middle of or thinking about going through their own upgrade. And to this day, I exchange emails with individuals I met from that session, offering them some advice to the questions they may have. And the point I'm trying to make here is that it doesn't hurt to be open and transparent. The Oracle community in general is fairly small, and building your professional network can be extremely beneficial career-wise. You never know who you may run into again and reconnect with. As an example, I recently hired a DBA consultant in my team that was actually a mentor to me when I was starting out as a junior DBA. Based on that positive experience early in my career, we've come to reconnect full circle 15 years later. Right? And I think that just highlights, how powerful career building and networking can be in general. Preparing your elevator pitch. Now, when attending events or meeting people, it's important to know how to introduce yourself. There may come a time when you get a golden opportunity you don't want to miss. In essence, you should come up with your own elevator pitch. It's good practice to prepare a 30-second short summary of who you are, what you do, why you're awesome, and what information you're trying to obtain or convey. By planning in advance, you can work out the most important things to say and rehearse them again and again until your spiel is firmly fixed in your mind and becomes second nature. At Collaborate, we had a fun networking event for the Young Professionals group where it was set up in a speed dating style event, broken down into different technology, management, and functional areas. It was a great way to exercise and practice this particular skill set and put it in motion. In terms of starting conversations, try to avoid saying, "What do you do?" In general, it doesn't really open up much of a conversation or go anywhere, right? Alternatives such as, what is your connection to this event? or how did you get into your line of work have more scope to get conversation flowing. And also, don't forget to exchange business cards and take relevant notes after you've had that interaction with someone for reference. Attend industry relevant events. So the best way to meet people who appreciate the value of your skills and may possibly need them is at industry events such as conferences, workshops, and social events. Not only will you build on your knowledge and contacts, but it's a great opportunity to establish yourself as an expert in your field. When attending, actually be present and remember that successful networking requires genuine interest and engagement. Join an industry body or organization. We talked about OAUG earlier with GEO and SIG groups, and as well as various local chapter organizations. It's definitely a great way to get more involved. Volunteer. Demonstrate your authority and expertise by giving speeches, presentations, webinars, and running workshops on topics you know well. Another good way to demonstrate your knowledge and broaden your reputation is to contribute to online forums. Look for opportunities to answer questions, to help others, or take part in intelligent, measured discussions. This can help establish yourself as someone who is professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And be sure to include a link in your profile of how to best reach you. And lastly, we have the 24/7/30 method, and it goes a little something like this. 24 hours, when you meet someone at a networking event, drop them a note or email within the first 24 hours. Let them know that it was a pleasure meeting them and you hope your paths cross again. 7 days. Within 7 days, connect with them on social media. Make a connection via Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Find ways to connect and engage with them via the social media platforms that you use the most. Do it as a way to start establishing a meaningful and organic connection with them. And then 30 is for 30 days. Within 30 days, reach out to them to set up a face-to-face or video conference meeting in hopes of making it a relationship-building opportunity. It's a simple rule of thumb that will establish a powerful routine that will help you make your networking efforts meaningful and successful. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to attend this session and want to wish everyone the best of luck in making networking work for you. And feel free to reach out to me on Facebook and LinkedIn for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Jansen, for your time and with those tips and tricks that you gave us. If anyone does have any questions right now for Jansen, please enter them into the question box, and I'll give everyone just a few moments to enter their questions. We do have a question where someone said, I've heard that sometimes it's not okay to connect with people you meet in professional settings on Facebook, and they might feel uncomfortable about it. What do you think about it?
I have mixed feelings on that topic as well. the thing with Facebook, it's hard to differentiate, your professional and personal viewpoints on the platform. I think LinkedIn is probably my first choice when trying to connect with someone professionally. And if you establish that relationship where you become close to someone, Facebook could be a next best option, I guess.
All right, and then another question is, in those follow-up emails with the method you shared, what do you include so that you can open up a connection with that person?
So with the follow-up emails, once you've established that relationship, I've had folks just be very candid with me and asking outright, what do I think about this particular product, or how did you guys solve for this type of integration, right? And from my viewpoint, I don't really, I actually welcome more direct conversation in hopes of, being able to help someone out in their decision and decision making.
All right. And then we do have one other question. Is someone who is newer to the workforce, sometimes it can be intimidating starting up those conversations. Do you have more suggestions to help break the ice?
Yeah, I guess presenting it, the introduction in a way where, you're looking to someone to provide advice or help and further their career is one way to approach it. I mean, I find it, enjoyable to helping others, and if someone introduces themselves to me as, someone that's just starting out and trying to get their foot in the door and look to me as kind of a mentor, I think that's welcoming. I guess it depends on a person-to-person basis, but I actually find joy in helping others.
And we do have, so one of the other questions we have is, what is the best way to ask for a mentorship from a new connection? Is it best to establish the relationship first?
Absolutely. There has to be, I guess, some legwork that should be performed in why you're choosing the person you're choosing for mentorship. So, first starting out by following them on social media, maybe commenting on things to get more involved, I think are great ways to establish that relationship.
And then there is a question, what is your advice to women in technology who want to break through barriers as well?
I think actually my first mentor that I had was a woman, and I think I'd like to see more women in technology, because in general it just brings diversity, I think, in opinions, in the way you're thinking, and can open up different viewpoints on how to resolve things, how to find solutions to issues. I think it just diversifies teams, right? And I think one way is, of course, getting involved, attending conferences, attending special groups, and just showing presence, right? That's how I would try to pursue that.
Great. And then we also just have a comment that wanted to follow up with what you had already said about strengthening connections, and they said that they like to ask them for advice on a topic or a challenge, and that's mostly people like to be in an advisory role, and I think that's something you had also mentioned in your presentation too.
Yes, absolutely. All
right. So that's all the questions that I have, but if you do have follow-up questions later on, don't hesitate to send me an email at membership@oaug.org, and we can get those answered. I want to thank you for attending. I'd like to also thank Kaveri and Melanie and Tanika for helping out with this webinar today, and especially Jansen, who helped with this presentation on networking tips and tricks. Again, if you'd like to participate in one of the committees, you can send an email at membership@oaug.org. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you'll be able to come to either the August webinar or the Open World in September and meet us all in person. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you.